Welcome, Wanderer. I got good news and very good news for you. This video is all about the new features in Season 10 because we finally got to play the PTR. How good are Chaos Waves in Infernal Hordes? What about Bartuc, the new boss? Do you have to fight him through all his phases, or can you actually blast him into oblivion? And last but not least, what about Chaos perks, which are already breaking the game? I've seen 2 trillion damage builds this morning. Let's start step by step with an Infernal Horde. First difference, you still have to nuke the guy in the middle, and as soon as he's dead, before wave 1 starts, we already get to choose something. For example, monsters now have 100% additional health. Aether events can spawn Aether goblins that drop bonus Aether. Or your good old Exalted Hordes for faster events. Let's actually take the Aether Goblin so you might actually see one of those. Generally speaking, the boons and banes have been majorly reworked. Yes, they did a good job on those. We are having Etheric Masses can spawn Aether Lords, into can spawn Elites, can spawn bonus Etheric Masses can spawn Soul Spires. We have the standard Hellborn now popping out with whatever. So a normal event can spawn a Hellbuyer and Hellborn. The Etheric Mass can die and spawn Hellborn. Instead of Aether Fiends, you can spawn Aether Lords. There's a chance for that. And instead of normal Elites, you can spawn Aether Fiends, so that kind of stacks up. If my normal Elites can be Aether Fiends and then my Aether Fiends can be Aether Lords, it actually goes crazy. What about Chaos Waves now? When do they appear? Instead of being able to choose a boon, there could be start a Chaos Wave. By the way, this one is the one that says Aether Fiends spawn as Aether Lords and drop 3 times the Aether. Awesome. Wave over and we get lucky. Here, start a random Chaos Wave. And these Chaos Waves are now minigames. Slay Aether Fiends for bonus Aether. Okay, that's simple. This time, I just have to destroy them, and I have to avoid the random damage blips that are appearing. Because all of these have like some special stuff happening. Like there are these ghostly waves coming, and as you notice, they're somewhat bugged, so not everything is working perfectly. And there are many like this. There's an etheric mass in the middle that you have to protect from damage, and if you protect it, then you're gonna get more ether. There are those puking worms from the Helltide spawning, and you have to kill them, and each kill gives you 5 ether. That wave alone can give you up to 200 ether, if not more. If you're lucky, you can even get them back to back to back to back. And by the way, do you remember it saying Aether Lords give 3 times ether? Well, this is plus 5 ether on Aether Lords. And Aether Lords are actually the craziest Chaos Wave that there is possible. This wave just spawns Aether Lords and we have to kill them. And I also got the boon that gave Aether Lords Hellfire. So there's Hellfire everywhere. There's Lords popping out. This one wave gave me 400 ether. And my build wasn't even perfect. I wasn't even super. I could have killed even more than that. Those Chaos Waves are quite crazy. But you also need to go through all of them, because in order to summon Bartuc at the end, so after all 10 waves are over, you get the option to fight the Fell Council or to summon Bartuc, and you need 666 ether to summon him. This one, for example, is now the Slay the Hellworm one. So we're going to have these Hellworms popping up, and each Hellworm spawns 5 ether. You notice how many Hellworms there are actually. Like, I am just racking that up like there's no tomorrow. You're still gonna take care that you don't randomly die, but if you actually stay alive here, if you play, I don't know, a lightning spear sword teleporting around, something one-hitting billions of damage out, companion druid, stuff like that. I mean, like, yeah, this is obvious to you. Chaos Waves are the way to go to stack up ether like there's no tomorrow. I mean, look at how we're flying upwards. And well, you want that 666 because it has somewhat gotten a bit more complicated to get a lot of ether, as some of the normal stuff doesn't give as much anymore as they used to give. Like usually you started to get Hellborn and it was always like 3 ether per Hellborn, but now it's just like 1 or 2 ether per Hellborn, and then you need to stack up for more. But hell, I just got almost 200 ether from that wave. In this case wave, you need to pick up the ether-bound reliquary, and then there are lasers spawning that are trying to stun you. There's the first laser coming. I will have to walk into the teleporter to get over to the other side to not get stunned, and the same goes here. So you gotta be active and aware and paying attention. Random Aether Lord spawning. laser coming, me teleporting over. Again, mini game that potentially just boosts you full of ether. If you get stunned, you have to put the reliquary back up again, right? To then get your ether for killing opponents. Massive amounts of ether possible, as you just have to have the reliquary on the back, right? If I'm now a Sork again, and I can actually teleport through those laser beams, that's going to be insane. So that's great. If you die, the wave ends right away. This is how it would look. Invoke fake council members or fight Bartuc. And I got very good news regarding that little lad. If you manage to blast him away with billions and billions of damage, a good build, then you won't have to go through his phases. If you're too slow though, he will become invulnerable, summon a spiraling fire beam that you have to avoid by jumping through the portals. Which I think is okay. Your build sucks, or you don't have the equipment yet, but you want to do him in Torment 4, well, get right, it's going to hurt. You're going to have to actually fight him. But you're fast enough, you can just blast him into smithereens, as it should be. I don't want to do 100 billion damage and be like, oh no, one hit face on Bartuc, ha 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 ha. Nah, this shouldn't be another Endario. So very well done there on Blizzard's side of allowing us to do it weak and fight, and then strong and blast. Before we get to Chaos perks, you can also find the Chaos Portals in the Helltide, in the open world. They'll be noticeable by this arm symbol, and then opens Magic Chaos Rift, reward Aberrant Cinders. It can be Aberrant Cinders, it can be bonus XP. I've seen multiple things here. You get to avoid whatever's trying to kill you. There is usually a Hellborn coming out, and then boom, we get some Cinders. Done. That is it. You also get the resource to level up your powers, the Infernal Warp. Finally, let's talk Chaos perks and Chaos armor. My boots, for example, are right now the Lidless Wall, because the Lidless Wall says each active Bone Storm grants 20% bonus critical strike damage. And with my skeletons and the Bone Storm active, I can actually make quite some Bone Storms. Like you can see, they just keep stacking up, that it just doesn't stop. This is like plus 10 Bone Storms. That'd be 200% crit strike damage. Sadly, it doesn't count them right now properly. So I'm actually not getting the amount of crit strike damage I should be getting. On another build, I'm playing my Eben Piercer Amulet as my boots too, so that I can use an actual amulet that gives me a better aspect. That's kind of crazy, and especially if the Lidless Wall is my boots, I can play a two-handed weapon. So you can really get the best of most worlds. The biggest issue will be getting the case unique you're looking for with the right greater affix on the slot that you want. Good thing is, you can Oboe Gamble. Oboe Gamble does actually give you uniques and case uniques this season. So that's quite nice. I already get a pants for that. So if you gamble for pants, I can get a pants case unique. Awesome. One very good thing about the case uniques is they're always max aspected. So if you don't actually need cooldown reduction, bone storm duration, bone skills, anything as a greater affix, you just need the aspect on the unique item. That will be always maxed. I want a Banished Lord's Talisman with 72%. Haha, nice. Because it's maxed and then X 20%. Lastly, we have the case perks, and then we're going to talk about if this is all good, bad, or ugly. Currently, for my mages, I play a Beast Cornered. For every 10% of your life you're missing, you gain 20% bonus damage. Right now, I am missing 50% life because I also play Marred Guard. That means I get 100% bonus damage. Sadly, I don't have a skill to really drain my life. As you can see, I'm always at 50% life. And even if I shoot out some blights, I'm always at 50% life. I'm not draining empty. So I pretty much get 100% bonus damage, and my skeletons get 100% bonus damage. That's nice to have. I can explode corpses bop bop twice, so I can faster get my Flesh Eater node. And your chaotic bursts that hit an enemy reduce a random active cooldown by 0.5 seconds. Therefore, I can double explode, I can double chaotic burst, and then I can reduce the cooldown of my Bone Storm and or my Corpse Tendrils. Works kind of nifty together. A different build that's already doing trillions of damage is using Alter the Balance. Alter the Balance says on the Necromancer, your base core skills are now ultimate skills, cost no essence but have 20 seconds cooldown. This means my Blight has now a 14.24 second cooldown. The interesting part is that Alter the Balance also boosts the skill. Right now it has 80% damage bonus and a 250% damage bonus, right? If I now put in the Beast Cornered, for example, the damage bonus goes down to 40 and 160. Which means with a fully, absolutely fleshed out Darkness Super Wombo Combo Triple Double Dibble Double build, you can get the actual blight up to 10 million base damage and then multiply it upwards to even more. There might actually be a good blight build with Alter the Balance if you get the cooldown low enough to then spam it. The main thing Alter the Balance now does though is I can use my Blood Wave and I can just spam it. Let's actually take the points out of Bone Storm here quickly, right? So instead of needing any kind of cooldown reduction, instead of needing anything, I can just take my Blood Wave. Sure, I'm playing the Great Feast right now. I'm gonna actually put that off to get some essence back. And then I can just pop them out. Like that's one. And if I had the essence, I could pop out. So if we get any kind of cast ultimate skills for resource back, because there's the temper that says cast resource skill, get 50 resource back. Well, you can just spam the Blood Wave and it will never stop, right? And we can play the overpower version again that gets the 200% damage bonus that is then spammable. You don't need the fast blood aspect, so you can play any other damage aspect. And most importantly, we can turn Blood Wave together with Ultimate Shadows into a darkness skill. And then you can use your Bloodless Scream as a helmet. The Bloodless Scream is usually a scythe. We can use it as a helmet, as a chest, as boots, and get another 240% bonus damage on our darkness skills. Our darkness skills will also chill and just absolutely obliterate bosses. And we get more ranks to darkness skills too, and a lucky hit chance to do darkness damage. And we have a lucky hit chance to restore resource. Ha ha. Yeah, that helmet alone allows me to then spam my Blood Wave even more because Blood Wave has a high lucky hit chance. So you're just spamming that away. You go for the triple Blood Wave cast. You're going to pick up your blood orbs and you're going to overpower and overpower and over. This already deals trillions of damage in a fully fleshed out version. And we're talking about not perfected, not absolute ultra gear, just good gear and this combination. Which means case perks are quite crazy, but also somewhat limited because we're using mostly the Beast Cornered. And obviously as a Necro, you have Alter the Balance, and for some builds, you're going to use Brawn over Brains for that bonus overpower damage. The actual Chaos Unleash, the stacking up of Chaotic Burst and trying to go for super Chaotic Burst damage, it didn't work too well. I tried out a build that's using Corpse Explosions. It was kind of fine, but not as good as I really was hoping it to turn out. That being said, each class has their different specific perk for their class, and each of these perks usually lead to a unique build, like Druid going for Companion Druid finally. That gets a 60% bonus damage to your companions and it makes them core skilled so that you can actually spam them and you don't have to wait for other cooldowns. Case perks are truly build defining, build shaping perks. And I like that. It's sure another Blood Wave build, but Blood Wave different. Because you can choose different items and you can look for the goddamn Bloodless Scream not as your weapon, because then we can play the title aspect on our two-handed weapon for that 200% bonus damage on the triple Blood Wave cast, while we still get the 240% of the Bloodless Scream. Hey, and if you want to, you can then play the Even Piercer as your boots to get the 32% bonus damage per shadow skill in your skill bar. And then you can have actually Blood Wave be a shadow skill. Blight, you get the Corpse Explosion, you get the Reap. That's another over 100% multiplier on all the other multiple possibilities. And that's only for one build. This makes the case perks really cool and really exciting. And I'm looking forward to heavily experiment with this. And every single case unique you're finding will add to the excitement. Because obviously your seasonal journey will then give you more case uniques. And you can just simply experiment with stuff. What would happen if? Does this go crazy if? And so on. Alone overpower builds that usually play the Banished Lord's Talisman as their necklace, but you actually want to play a different necklace, could now play that Banished Lord's Talisman wherever they like. What about the Chaos Waves now though? And they feel good in itself. Chaos Waves are nice. The problem is choosing a Chaos Wave does not advance your Infernal Horde. So if I do a Chaos Wave, I might get Aether, but I'm not getting more drops from Hellborn. I'm not getting more drops from Aether Fiends. I'm not making my Aether Lord stronger, right? They are fun to do, but there are no progress for the theme of the Infernal Horde. And if I then do 6 Chaos Waves in a row, I might stack up the Aether, but I don't have this feeling of going through an Infernal Horde and progressing it further. As much fun as they they don't seem to fit the concept of the Infernal Horde. It breaks out of the monotony, right? I'm slaying monsters, I get aether, I do a chaos wave to feel different, and it works. It activates your brain, it makes you happy. But then when you're done, you just get aether, but you didn't get any progress for the next wave. Your next wave is actually going to be weaker because you missed out on a perk. Not sure what there's to change about that, but also I would like to hear what you have to say about that. What you think about that. Please tell me in the comments below so we can have a healthy discussion with Blizzard about this. Now I'm going to give you my first stream where we started experimenting with an absolute funny golem build, minions, and the Eben Piercer fun. Plus, there'll be more stuff coming here on the live stream and in video form. Enjoy and have a great day.